DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJ and TV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJ and TV Insiders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for your Wednesday night entertainment pleasure, we have Dave and Jer.
Dave, welcome to Wednesday.
And the crowd goes wild.
Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. It's Dave.
And Jeremy. How are you guys? They're not answering.
They're not answering.
I can't hear them. John, I think their microphones are broken.
I'll get on it. I'll get on it in just a second.
All right.
Hey, Gus is there with us.
AV team.
Yeah, we'll get on
Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wedding chat with Dave and Jer here on Disc Jockey News TV.
Actually, it's Jer and Dave, but it doesn't count. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're excited to be back. We actually physically got to see each other in Vegas. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Man, time flies.
Yeah, today, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're back in our own hometowns and we're running our businesses and we're doing our things and we're not watching the news. So it's been good. It's been good. Has it been good? I haven't seen it.
It's been good. It's been great.
Okay, good.
I'm doing really well. I've been cycling like a madman, and this week anyway. Last week I sloughed off a little bit, but this week pedaling hard.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So we were at the DJ and TV Las Vegas show 2 weeks ago. And Dave did his presentation, which I actually saw at Midwest DJs about a year and a half ago. Again, knocked it out of the park. I mean, he was so excited that he stumbled on the stage to get up there. He was that excited.
And made it look planned, apparently, according to everybody that was watching.
Yeah, I mean, it was a legit fall. So,
and then what? I've just started into my opening story of the presentation, and then I'm like, wait a second, my watch is
yeah.
It was asking me if I had fallen and if I was okay, which was a hilarious moment.
The iWatch saying, "It seems like you have taken a stumble. Are you okay?" Yes, I'm okay. Thank you. Okay, back to it.
For all the Apple fans out there, I apologize. Jeremy doesn't know it's called an Apple Watch, not an iWatch.
What did I call it? Oh, an iWatch? Whatever.
I love the Apple digs on Jeremy. So yeah, that was a really great time. Really great. I think we're going to talk about a few other things here tonight, as people, of course, have guessed by the tagline. But I do just want to say I had an absolute blast in Vegas. I loved South Point as the venue for where we were. And to those who haven't been there before, but you maybe been to Mobile Beat before, go next week and enjoy a Mobile Beat.
Yep.
And then next year, come back, because you are going to love the South Point Hotel and Casino as this kind of one roof for Mobile Beat and the Photo Booth Expo to be under. I mean, it's
a different experience. I liked it. I liked it. It was okay. So if you're not familiar with South Point is off the strip, it's a good maybe 5 to 10 miles. And it takes about 5 to 10 minutes from the airport. I think our airport ride was like 15 minutes. Yeah. That's because once you go south past basically the Tropicana, you go south, there's no traffic. Like all the strip is just so backed up and everything in that area is so backed up. but you get off of South Point and you're kind of in this own little village of itself.
Yeah, you totally are.
South Point had so much to offer. I mean, there's a theater right inside there, not an adult theater, like a regular theater,
movie theater,
right inside there. There's like an equestrian park. There's a like an 86 lane bowling alley.
That thing's huge.
So many restaurants. And the thing is, like, the food is affordable. The rooms are affordable. So DJ,
everything was cheaper. Everything was cheaper. Even coffees,
DJs,
muffins, whatever. Yeah.
And us DJs are so cheap because we're like, well, I got to buy the new mixer that's coming out. I can't afford a $120 room. I need a $30 room. So I mean, I don't know exactly what the room rates were for this place, but from what I hear, everyone's like, oh my gosh, the rooms are so nice and they're so affordable. That's one thing I really loved. I can tell you the one thing. And I think we're both on the same page with this. The one thing that was kind of a turnoff, or the one thing that I wasn't too fond of, was you could smell smoke a little bit more there than you could at some of those other places. And I think the places on the Strip have really kind of put that into consideration, and they put like these really nice ventilation systems in or whatever it was. But that would be the only downfall that I would say with South Point. When you start going through the casino, you can really start smelling some of that smoke. But there's so many restaurants and bars and all this stuff that, I mean, you can't.
16 restaurants, I think, is the number. 16 restaurants inside that place, and you can have your $75 steak, or you can go to steak.
They have, well, their late night meals. They have like a cheeseburger and fries for like $3.20. I mean, it was ridiculous.
You know what blew me away? You got the thing of coupons when you got there, right?
Yeah, I didn't use any of them.
There was so everybody's used to going to a buffet, right, and paying $25 or whatever, the starting price for a buffet is for breakfast buffet. The breakfast buffet with this coupon that you were given at check-in. Let's just coupons are okay, people, all right? Yeah. The coupon got you that breakfast buffet for like $5.
It's incredible.
I mean, I ate more than $5 worth of food in my first plate from the breakfast buffet, and that's including like an omelet station. Hold on, you're right. There's a touch of smoke in the air. You can smell it a touch more than you could in other hotels.
Yeah,
but those who remember the glorious days of the Riviera, it didn't better than that.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like urine, so that's a positive.
Yeah, it was a great experience. This might surprise people, but my feet did not touch the Strip once, and I was there the whole conference. The only time I ever left the building, yeah, you were there for like 24 hours. The only time I ever left the building, truth be told, was to go mountain biking. Other than that, I never left the building, and I had an incredible experience. So,
and I think that's
2021 is really going to kick butt.
That is the one thing I'm really excited about with that location, is the fact that there are restaurants, there's bars. I mean, this place is huge, and you don't have to like, hey, let's get together. Well, what do you want to do? Well, we got to go to a restaurant way on the other side of the Strip. To me, there's going to be so much more camaraderie and conversations in the hall. That's what's going to happen at this location, because it's not just so convenient just to walk across the street. So now you're going to be able to network so much better at this location than I feel you have at other locations from the past. But again, like Dave said, go hit up the last Mobile Beat. Or what is, what's currently the Mobile Beat. Mobile Beat's going to kind of go through a transformation, which I'm excited about. But it's a great show. I was excited to be involved in it the last couple of years. I haven't for the last 3 years, but a couple of years before that, I was 3 years involved. And Ryan Berger and his team, they did a great job putting that whole thing together. So absolutely, props to them.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm excited about is the fact that they didn't cancel the show. I don't know if you received the Mobile Beat email. They didn't cancel the show because, hey, this is going on, this epidemic. And that's really what we're going to be talking about tonight. I know there's a lot of kind of scarcity going on in across the country and across the world. I mean, there's people, it's crazy. In Sioux Falls, someone took a picture of the toilet paper aisle and it's empty. Like I don't know if they're expecting this virus that's spreading across the country is going to create explosive diarrhea or what's going on. But toilet paper seems to be the big thing. The people aren't taking frozen meats. They're not taking gallons of milk. They're not taking jugs of water. It's toilet paper. People can't get enough toilet paper. But that's what we want to talk about is, we understand things happen, and people panic. But Mobile Beat understands that if you take precautions, you're smart about things, keep those things in mind when you're out networking and you're doing those things. But you don't have to cancel. You don't have to cancel the event world. You don't have to cancel a show because of some of these situations. Just be cautious of your surroundings and use common sense. So tell me your thoughts on this whole COVID-19 or whatever it is. I don't watch the news, so I couldn't even tell you what's happening. But
well, I don't watch news either, but I do read news. I keep myself up to date there. I think it's really fascinating just watching people react to this.
Yeah,
that's what I'm having the most fun with. I'll tell you the number of times I have written a comment on my phone in regards to someone's Facebook post about this, and then just deleted it in the last 48 hours. I can't even tell you how many.
It's like, not worth my time.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how everybody's reacting to this. As I mentioned to you and John earlier, I wish more people would acknowledge one truth that I think is without question. The media is damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
If the media doesn't tell us about something, y'all are up in arms that, hey, why weren't we informed? And then when they do, report on it quite extensively, when it is a big news, and then you say it's being overhyped. So you can't have your cake and eat it too, people. I think it's more people's internal reaction to things. I don't think it's actually as much external. I think it's people. I don't know. I think it's really interesting watching people anyway. I think, as with everything, context is super important, and I think that a lot of people are, maybe not looking past the headline to dig into some of the details. Is it a valid concern? Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it is. The numbers back that up, but of course, the president has made numbers and facts as questionable as anything these days, and I actually think
you cannot use our president in any type of.
I actually think that the news wouldn't be making as big a deal about it 4 years ago as they are today, because
it's election year.
They rightly believe that a lot of people don't believe the media anymore because of this narrative that's been created. These two words, fake news, that didn't exist prior to 4 years ago. So I think that's making their job a lot more difficult in getting out accurate information.
Well, okay, so here's the thing that I struggle with, and I've talked to a lot of our Sioux Falls.
Let the hate comments begin to me, by the way.
What?
Let the hate comments begin to me, by the way. Go ahead.
No, I have a lot of connections with the medical field here in the Sioux Falls area, and Sioux Falls was actually we have 5 cases apparently here in the Sioux Falls area, and we're small. Right. I mean, 5 people. That's like 70% of our population in the state. Just kidding, but. I mean, it just kind of shows you that it's going to get to you. It's going to get to your market. It's going to happen. You just have to be ready, and you have to, you have to plan ahead. Don't stop business. Don't stop purchasing stuff because, there's this scarcity out there. You're still going to need gear. You're still going to need training. You're still going to need education. Don't stop what you're doing because this is happening. A friend of mine, Steve, on Facebook, he posted, so far, 16,000 people died from the flu in 2019 and 2020 flu season. So in the matter of the last 4 months, 16,000 people died. 36 died in car accidents in 2018. Over 600,000 people died from heart disease. 39,000 people died from gun violence in 2017. Okay. And it just shows you that there's so many people. No, you're going to wait. You're going to wait. It just shows you that all this stuff happens, but it's not always being reported. I understand that this is a very serious matter right now.
Yeah.
There's other stuff happening in the news. There's other things going on. And the way people are taking the news and kind of making their conspiracies of it, like, oh my gosh, this is going to hit me. And if I get it, I'm dead. That's not the problem. The medical field shows that if you take care of yourself, if you do get this, you're not going to die. It depends on if you have other illnesses in the past, if you have medical issues, if you have respiratory problems, if you have heart disease, these things that is going to make you more receptive to this being more chronic. So take care of yourself, wash your hands, take sanitizer everywhere you go. Be a Jim Cerrone. Be a Jim
Cerrone. Jim Cerrone is a poster child of what you should be right now. That's hilarious.
He is the poster child of COVID-19.
That's funny. That's funny.
So again, I mean, just be cautious of your surroundings, be cautious of what you're doing, and still live your life. Because if you live in fear, you're going to put yourself in such a situation that you're not going to know how to recoup from it if you quit going to work, if you quit doing the jobs you need to do.
But I think context is really, really important, though. And I saw Steve's post, and his post is actually one that I wrote a comment and then deleted. Because there's a huge thing missing from Steve's post, which is sadly what people have become used to, though. And the thing that's missing is context. So, yeah, a lot of people die from influenza, the common flu, every year. But that statement alone is without context. Okay, well, we have to know how many people total had influenza, and then what percentage of those people died.
Okay. So
right?
What is the percentage? So what is the percentage currently of how many people have it and how many people have died from it?
So influenza.
No. I'm talking the COVID-19.
Influenza takes the lives of approximately 0.2% of the people it infects.
Okay.
COVID-19 takes the lives of about 15 times that many. They're at about 3% right now. So, I understand the context of 16,000 or whoever died from influenza, but for context, we actually have to multiply that number by 15.
Okay. So
we have to multiply the COVID-19 number by 15 before we get to the same ratio. So in that context, there is some matter to be taken seriously. But as you said, look, there's no point in going out and buying a bunch of toilet paper. Just take care of yourself.
I mean, you still need toilet paper. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
you don't need to buy. You don't need to buy out the toilet paper company.
Some people might remember Ebola from a few years ago.
Yeah,
Ebola had the highest mortality rate of anything in recent memory. The mortality rate with Ebola was around 90%. That is like off the charts, right?
Yes.
Basically, if you get it, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
COVID-19 is a lot lower. It's 3%. But sadly, for those comparing it to the flu, you have to look at the whole picture, because if you don't, all you're doing is, cherry picking one number, which sadly in Steve's post, much respect, Steve, but sadly in Steve's post, all it did was cherry pick numbers, right? Yes, so many people died from car accidents, but again, where's the context? How many million miles driven is that, right? It's like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percentage of people that got into a car that actually died. So without that context, the argument plays into the narrative that we can just say anything we want with statistics.
Hold on. So you actually have to back up on that, because it's not, you have to think about how many people got in car accidents, not how many miles were driven. Because that's like saying, okay, all these people have traveled the world and all these people live in the world.
Right.
Okay. So it's not, you have to think about how many people have COVID-19 and how many people have actually died from COVID-19.
Right. About 3%.
So it's different than saying, everybody drives on the road. Well, everybody lives in the world.
I know. But what I'm saying though is,
I get what you're saying.
3% of the people who got into a car tomorrow were going to be killed from that car, I'll tell you right now, every car manufacturer would be out of business, because nobody would consider them safe enough.
Okay. I agree. I agree on that. So I read something a couple years ago where they were like, if the motor companies would have predicted the amount of fatalities in vehicles that were going to happen in the future, the car companies would have been shut down. Like they never would have, that never would have happened.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
And so when you think about it, it's the same thing, like texting and driving. Right. If they would have known that would have been so dangerous, they never would have actually created that. There would have been some other type of system or service. Yeah, there would have been some other type of system or service that you wouldn't actually been able to utilize your phone in a car, at a point where now you can put it into your Bluetooth and it'll automatically say, sorry, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in driving mode, that type of thing. So now it's like, okay, now we're backpedaling. This is way off topic. Right. Anyway, okay. So here's what I want to kind of talk about. Again, there's so much panic, and we actually had our first email that just came to us. We had a wedding scheduled for the very beginning of April that just postponed to November. Okay, completely understand. At least they understand that this event still matters. This is a very important thing. This isn't just well, I guess we'll just cancel it and we'll go do this somewhere else. They understand that their family involvement is important. They understand that this is a reception and a ceremony to celebrate with their family and friends. So they didn't just cancel it. Now, I know there's a lot of talk with conferences canceling. And again, I'm glad Mobile Beat is sticking with it and, just using precautions. You can't stop living life. You can't stop doing what you do. So again, what we want you to think about when that call is going to come where they have to say, I have to postpone my wedding. You have to be flexible. You have to be understandable. This is a serious situation. I'm not saying, this isn't a threat. It's not serious. I completely understand that it is a serious situation. So you have to be understanding. You can't be like, well, I'm sorry, that's cancellation.
Right.
Keeping your money. You have to make sure that your business is going to be okay. You have to make sure that your clients are going to be okay. Because if all of a sudden you have people who are like, hey, we have to change our date. Well, that's going to cost you a fee. You know what? That's going to get out there. People are going to start talking about that. That's not going to look good on your business.
I actually had a conversation with a colleague today about that. One of his colleagues out in British Columbia has already had like 18 cancellations as a result of this because he lives in the Vancouver area and the Chinese population is just monstrous. It's just a very, very heavy Chinese population and most of them very affluent as well. So when they have weddings, they're big weddings and there are a lot of people coming over from China. And he's had something like his buddy has had like 18 cancellations. And we were talking about, what does your contract say? And I said, you know what, at this point, I would implore DJs that it really doesn't matter what your contract says.
Yeah.
Airlines are taking it on the nose for this, Airbnb, I mean, they're all doing, look, you can make changes without fees. I think this is all something we just have to go through.
Yep.
Everybody loves a hyper-connected world, and the fact that I can jump on a plane and be in Istanbul tomorrow. This is all something we take for granted, but I think it's very easy for us to forget that with that convenience is going to come the occasional upheaval like this.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life. The world's a very small place. Whether you like that or not, there is nothing you can do about that anymore, and it's just going to get smaller. So, I mean, really, Jeremy, I think you could probably speak to this more than I could. This really comes down to more long-term and better business planning too, because those who have put, solid foundations into place when it comes to their business, and most importantly, the fiscal management of that business, they probably have buffers built in to weather these storms. Because for anybody thinking you're going to remain self-employed and it's going to be this glorious storm-free life of just, smooth it, you're living in a world that doesn't exist.
Dave, I think this is probably the biggest thing that we've ever agreed on. I was going to say pretty much those exact words. If you have not set up a business plan to prepare yourself for a situation like this, then you are not running your business correctly. You are not running a business. You're running a hobby. And
which to be clear is fine for a lot of people. A lot of people do this just for a hobby. Keep that in mind.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. I just, this is such a great business. And
it is.
People should look at this more than just a hobby.
They should.
It should be a career. But anyways, that's not the point here.
Sorry.
But I completely agree. We have planned financially. We've planned with our staff. We've planned for something like this, even though we had no clue that this was going to be the situation. Think about all of the, when cattle farmers, when the mad cow disease was going on, they're like, well, we can't sell our cattle and we got to kill our cattle and we got to do this.
Right.
Think about the lettuce companies when romaine lettuce is like outlawed because of E. coli. I mean, all this stuff happens. And you know what? it's going to happen again. This is going to happen again. If you do not use this as a learning tool, you are not running your business correct.
Right.
You need to learn from the situation, whether it's going to hit you or not, or when it's going to hit you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's not in your area, again, it's going to happen. And so how do you not panic, and how do you keep your clients? So again, I have an email that just came in that said, hey, we're going to postpone. And that's cool. You know what? You have to be supportive of them, but you also have to be prepared that you're going to get more emails like this.
Yeah.
And if it happens, again, you have to be flexible, you have to be understanding, and you have to be on their side.
Right.
Because you really think that they want to postpone their wedding. You think they want to cancel,
this day they've dreamed about for years and
exactly.
years.
And have probably planned for months and years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have so many weddings and you have so many events that you have in your books. And I guarantee you're going to get at least 1 to maybe 10 cancellations, depending on what your books look like. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So what are you going to do to make up that revenue, or what are you going to do to make sure that, you can support your family, you can support your staff, you can do those things, because you might realize that there's going to be some loss in your bottom line at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, and really, I mean, as I hope everybody realizes, I mean, in probably 6 weeks, we're going to know a lot more about the impact this will have on 2020, because, in 6 weeks, well, truthfully, in 2 or 3 weeks is when flu season typically comes to an end. But of course, that's the big unknown factor here.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. The medical community does not know, will this one kind of come to an end after flu season, or will it not? And that's why markets are uncertain. That's why, I mean, when an unknown quantity like this comes about, it's the uncertainty. It's not necessarily always what it's doing today that scares people, but it's the uncertainty. And and I think there's a healthy fear that one can have from uncertainty. But obviously, Jeremy, as you've acknowledged, there's a lot of unhealthy fear happening all over the place, in Costco's and Walmart's and everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
I like David Wolf says, here's a great promo: free 24-pack of toilet paper with the purchase of a new controller. Love that. And then there's also another comment, day and night DJs. This is a very good reminder that we should not live paycheck to paycheck. Amen.
Oh, yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I kind of want to put a curveball to this, because, again, we can't panic when our clients come to us and say, hey, this is happening. What do we do? You have to help them through situations. And I also want to kind of put this in a perspective of us as the MCs and the DJs being the ringleader at a wedding. We can't lose our panic, we can't lose our cool. We cannot panic.
Right. Yeah.
We have to always be, what do I do in this situation? You have to be thinking not just for yourself. You have to be thinking for the couple, the other professionals, and all the guests that are in that facility or in that room.
Yeah.
So for instance, if all of a sudden first dance is happening, or let's talk father-daughter dance. Father-daughter dance is happening. All of a sudden, dad grabs his chest and he starts falling over. What do you do in a situation like that? You can't panic. You have to be the calming voice on a microphone to calm 200-300 people, whatever it is, and just say, ladies and gentlemen, if you can please, just kind of find your seats as we take care of the situation. We'll keep everybody informed, but please just enjoy, just have conversations to yourself while we take care of the situation. Again, you have to be the calming person in a room of 200 to 300 people to make sure that a bride and groom don't panic, that guests don't panic, and facility managers don't panic.
100%. I agree with that.
So tell me about one of the biggest situations that you've had that, and again, I hope people post this as well. I hope people can post in the comments here. Tell me about a situation that you had personally at an event where you had to keep your cool and you had to kind of move away from a situation, or you had to kind of put, I don't even know how to say this, put up smoke and mirrors. What do you do? What's something that you ran into?
Something that I ran into?
Yeah.
Goodness. Tapping recent memory. You know how good my memory is for bad moments. It sucks. My memory's only good for the good moments.
Oh my gosh, it's so cheesy.
It's like a mistake in the hardwiring of my brain. It drives Catherine crazy because we're the opposite. She remembers all the bad things that happened. I'm like, that really happened. I mean, look, a year from now, I'm gonna go. I didn't break my leg.
Yeah, right. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, it's all social. If it happened on Facebook, it happened.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I had a wedding. God, this was 6-7 years ago, probably, where I don't remember who it was. I think it was an aunt, maybe, or something like that, who did have. I don't remember if it was cardiac arrest or what exactly took place, but yeah, it was one of those situations where actually. Hold on. No, let's go more recent. All
right. We've found the dark side of Dave. Here we go.
Well, this isn't exactly a dark side, but I had a party a couple months ago and I've done this party for many, many years in a row. About, anywhere between 500 and 600 people attended. It's a great, great time. Massive dance crowd. Really fun group of people. Anyway, one guy had a little too much to drink that night. And he didn't like being told by the security guard, who was a guy my height and a heck of a lot wider than me, this security guard. He didn't like being told by the security guard that he probably had enough to drink. And this guy wound up and clocked him once. Security guard dead cold to the floor.
Oh, wow.
And this party's known for just being the happiest, most fun-loving party ever. And so this happens, and someone comes up to me and says, Dave, you got to kill the music. Like, we got a security guard down, like, just off the edge of the dance floor. I'm like, wait, what? So, I mean, not quite maybe to the degree that you're talking, but nevertheless, it was a moment where, it's easy to get caught up in the drama of things and such, I suppose. But, yeah, that was a situation where, okay, music stopped, lights came up, just hang tight, everybody. Make way for the emergency officials and the police to come in and do their thing. And the one of the managers was like, all right, let's get this party going again. And I'm like, yeah. And then the person who's in charge of the venue said, yeah, no, Dave, you can tell everybody to not leave by the front door, but right now they can leave by this exit door.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was my job to deliver the information, but deliver it in a manner that's still respectful of what happened and that everybody is a little let down. But look, for the good of this individual, we've got to wrap things up. We'll see you next year, that type of thing. I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's a little different situation than maybe what you're asking for an example of, but it's like a few months.
Well, no, that's exactly what I'm kind of getting at. And I mean, again, there are some that are life-threatening situations. So one of them that I can remember was a groom and one of the groomsmen got into a fight. And I mean, we're talking,
wow.
We're talking like tuxes were getting ripped. They weren't tuxes, but they were like the suits. The vests were getting ripped. And I mean, they went at it. I don't even know exactly. I don't remember what the whole story was. I think one of the groomsmen was hitting on the best man's girlfriend. And again, I mean, alcohol, of course, is related. And so the groom went up and he's like, dude, you can't be doing this. And that's his girl. And you're going to piss him off. And the next thing you know, the alcohol kicks in and, the negative spirits of alcohol start making some noise. And then, it was like an all out brawl. So then, the groom, after that whole situation, obviously, we're trying to keep the focus away from what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Playing music over here and trying to help out with the situation going on. And the groom came up to me afterwards. She goes, hey, I appreciate you not stopping the music and making an issue out of this or a situation out of this.
Interesting.
Thanks for keeping people on the dance floor. And I know that some people got pulled away, but you still kept that going and tried to help out with our situation. He goes, nice. I can't thank you enough for doing that because obviously that's not what we wanted our wedding night to be like.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm sure they made up. I'm sure it was fine after that. The next day after they slept it off. But again, I mean, you have to be ready for anything. You have to be flexible, and you have to be you have to be able to adjust to the situation, and not make things awkward.
Yeah, and you have to let yourself not get caught up in the excitement that the guests might be feeling about the situation as well.
Right.
The excitement and the drama, maybe, I guess, too. You don't want to be that, I mean, the last thing you want to be is one of the looky-loos just for the sake of being a looky-loo.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need to help, that's another story. But real quick, I'm going to just read through some of the comments in the YouTube feed here. By the way, if anybody's watching on Facebook Live, I apologize. I did not load that up on my other screen. So if you're talking to us there, hi. Okay, Jeremy, you and I got nothing on the stories being shared here on YouTube.
Oh, I believe it. That's why I wanted people to post.
Gift table caught on fire from a candle.
Oh, wow.
Snap. Whew. Had a bride and groom storm out of the reception during dinner hour, pissed off over a family issue. I ended up playing Guess the 80s song to keep people entertained until the parents got them calmed down.
Nice.
Gus shares total power outage during the couple's introduction into hall. Lasted half an hour. My wife raised her voice to introduce everyone. Staff put candles all over. Went well. Gus, done. I have a very, very similar story to that. Man, I forgot about that wedding. That was a long time ago. Neil at Nitro Music says, was at a wedding where the grandfather passed out near the end of dinner, fell out of his chair, went down to the ground. Got on the phone right away, called 911, handed it off to the venue coordinator to give all the info. Jump on the mic as well, of course, to explain briefly and that we were just hanging on. Yeah, very good.
Oh, very good.
And then...
who is that one from?
That was from Neil at Nitro Music.
Nice. Good job, Neil.
And then Day and Night DJs. Day and Night DJs. I'm sorry, I always forget your first name.
Day. Gosh.
Day. Day. We quote unquote lost a bride and groom for over 30 minutes one time. Found out later there was a fight in the bathroom between the groom and another guest, and the bride jumped in to break it up. We had no idea, except we couldn't find them. That's awkward.
It is awkward.
Dang. Real quick on the Gus, your story about the power outage. This was Colin and Marcy's wedding. I want to say, no, this wasn't Colin and Marcy's. Was this Colin and Marcy's, or was this Dalton and Lindsay's? I forget now. Anyway, this was 7-8 years ago. I've got 12 wedding party members to introduce. They all come into, unique biographical introductions with theme songs for every single one of them. And I think we got through the first person and the power went out in the whole venue. 400 guests, whatever it was. And we spent about 10 minutes trying to figure out the power thing and determined that we couldn't figure it out right now. So I'm like, hey, well, going on with the introductions. So thank God for the MC training that I've taken. But, through my voice to the back of that room with no amplification, we did those introductions. And it wasn't easy, but I mean, keep calm and carry on. It's just what we have to do.
Yeah. Mitch Taylor, actually, he gave some really good ideas if you have a power outage. So first of all, it matters on how much output or amps your speaker's pulling, but he has it's a backup battery, like a big Duracell backup battery. You get them from like your hardware stores for $60 to $120, depending on what you get.
Right.
And what he does is he at least has a powered, like a lot of the Electro Voice stuff has RCA jacks, or he's got a cable that allows him to, plug in his laptop, and it allows him to plug in his laptop and then play music directly into the laptop or into the speaker, as well as nice. Where'd you get that shirt? That one's sweet.
I've had this one for a while. I got totally interrupt Jeremy's story. I love it.
I'm chewing Mike out.
I've had this shirt for years. It must be like a previous run of something. Anyway, carry on.
That's nice. Anyways, so it's enough power to power the speaker. The second jack on the speaker, you can plug a microphone into. So you have microphone, you have music. You can still go on with the evening. And then also think about if the lights go out, a lot of the battery powered stuff that we have now, if the lights go out and or the electricity goes off, you still have uplighting that's battery powered.
Yeah, I had that happen once.
It's like a huge advantage. So, I mean, really, you're not out anything. You're actually kind of creating a really cool ambiance at that point. You have the music, you still have the microphone, dinner can go on. Is the dance going to happen, or did it happen during the dance? There might be some transition time that you need to kind of think about. And I've had before I started really carrying backup equipment, I had a laptop that froze up one time. No, it was not a Mac. And
of course it wasn't a Mac. I mean,
I had a laptop that had frozen up, and I'm like, crap, I got to restart. So I had to restart. But again, I have to keep my cool. It's like, hey guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to get things fixed. Or I'm going to do a quick transition here. So I'm on the microphone as my computer is doing a restart, and we're kind of creating a moment. I don't remember exactly what we did, whether it was like, who came the furthest from wherever, let's talk about anniversary dance. You kind of incorporate some of the anniversary stuff into that point.
Yeah.
So always have something kind of in your pocket to be able to have if a situation comes up where, okay, we got to do some fill. What's our fill time going to be?
Right.
Do a trivia with the couple, do the shoe game, whatever it is. Just always have something prepared.
Something, yeah.
But the other thing too is I had my backup laptop, or my lighting laptop actually has not all of our music, but it has some of the popular stuff. So for some reason, if this laptop goes down, all I have to do is just grab a cable, plug it in, and I can bring it back up in a matter of 30 seconds. So I don't have to wait for a 2-3 minute restart on a computer or whatever it is. I mean, really, it don't even take that long to restart anymore. But you get my point.
Yeah, very true, very true. We have got, before we wrap up here, John's probably saying, come on boys, wrap up. Holy, this one goes to David Wolf.
Let's hear it.
During the cake cutting, the bride spears cake on the groom when feeding him. I'm guessing maybe poked him with the knife or the fork or something like that. Groom decides to do the same thing to the bride using the spatula, not realizing it was serrated. Cut the bride's chin, bleeding down her dress.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
David, what was it? Wolf?
David Wolf.
David Wolf. David, you win DJ NTV swag. Please send that to him, John. Get his address. And that is probably the winner out of all of the people that
that's rough.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Man. I will just echo your wireless uplight comment, though. I mean, really, we should all start, one more benefit to booking my wireless uplighting system, folks, is look, if the power goes out, because you never know, it could be a storm.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I got you covered. And you know what? Normally, that sells for $500, but I include it for free with my uplighting.
There you go. Package is sold.
Oh my God. Anyway, to circle back to everything that's going on, certainly be empathetic with those who are, potentially thinking of postponing their events. Don't get absorbed by the hype. Don't buy into the hype per se. Don't let the sensationalism of some of the news channels out there, be your guiding light through this. Just keep a cool look at things logically. This will at some point pass, but it may very well likely get worse before it gets better. So just
absolutely, and be understanding with your couples, be understanding with your clients, whatever it is, because if you were in their situation, you would want someone to be just as flexible.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we may all have to just acknowledge that this might not be a year of 20% growth. In fact, maybe this is going to be a year of contraction instead. You know what?
But it's a great year to learn.
That's fine.
Yep. You're going to learn from the situation.
You're going to learn, and your family's going to have food, and let's just kind of think about the important things. By the way, his name is John. Jeremy, don't let me forget that. Day and Night DJs. It's John.
Thank you, John.
John Young. Wait.
Is John Young here?
Yes, I am, and it's not me.
Oh,
John, who's watching, says, "Wrap it up, boys. I got to go buy some more toilet paper." Awesome. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cheerio.